Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is a beautiful Monday morning here in San Diego. I am coming to you from my work. It's around 6:30 in the morning, and I've started my day and taking a little break here, coffee break, so that I can reflect on uh, the topic that I'm about to talk to you about. And this is In the Raw, Unscripted, Unpracticed, Unedited Conversation. And the topic we've been talking about is hope. We started talking about this in the last video. And we were saying that hope is something that we all have, that God put in us. God gave us this ability to hope, or this characteristic, let's call it that. And we're always hoping for things. We're always hopeful. It's part of who we are. And so we were also talking about the opposite of hope, which is hopelessness. Those that comes from that false hope that sometimes we create. We create false hopes, and then when it doesn't happen, we become depressed, we become discouraged, and then the hopeless comes into us. We become hopeless. And we were saying that hopelessness is in the Bible is also referred to or compared to or described as darkness. The Bible speaks of it and uses the image of darkness. And so we're talking about a cave, being in a cave, and when you walk into a cave, you have sunlight until a certain point where you're far from the entrance, and then becomes very dark. And so that's how it is when we're hopeless. We are in darkness, and we become disoriented. We don't know where we are. We can't find the way out. And so darkness is a symbol of hopelessness, and this is where we left off. But there is good news. There is light that ends with darkness. There is light, so to speak, at the end of the tunnel. And when the hope that God gives enters this darkness, something happens. And this is what the prophet Isaiah said 750 years before the birth of Jesus, approximately. He said, this is Isaiah 9, "The people who walked in darkness have seen great light. Those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end." So what Isaiah is saying is that one day a light will come in to the darkness that will put end to this darkness. It will come through a child that will be born, and it will be a light for humanity. Isaiah is pointing forward to the birth of Jesus, of course. And what's fascinating is that John, many years later, said the same thing. 750 years later, said the same thing. And he said this several years after the birth of Jesus. John 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." Oh my God. He's talking about this light that shines in the darkness. And so John is saying the light arrived, and that light that Isaiah spoke of is called Jesus. Jesus is the true hope for humanity. Jesus is the one in whom we can put our hope. He is the light to the darkness that brings hopelessness to this world, this darkness that causes hopelessness. He is the light that will do away with that. If you want to end hopelessness, then all you need to do is find Jesus, because Jesus is true hope. And you know, there's two kinds of hope in this world. We can hope for, or we can hope in. There's a difference. In life's something we hope for. We all have things that we hope for, right? And it's part of our human nature to hope for something. I hope for a good job. I hope for a wife or a husband. I hope for a house. I hope for this. I hope for that. But there's another type of hope, and that is to hope in someone. And that someone is reliable and without fault. We need to stop waiting for and start waiting in Jesus. He will not disappoint us. He will always come through. He is a true hope that we can trust. He is the hope of the world. And when you're hoping for something, you might be disappointed if you don't get what you hope for. But when you place your hope in Jesus, you will not be disappointed, because your life is secured in Him. Who your hope is in will always be greater than what you are hoping for. And believe me, that is so true. So always remember this. It's not hoping for, it's hoping in. And finally, this hope is not based on probabilities. It is based on promises. You know, we always, when we hope for something, we're looking at the probabilities. But in this case, has nothing to do with probabilities. When we hope in Jesus, it is based on His promises. When our hope is based on probabilities, we're filled with doubt, anguish, and fear. But when our hope is based on promises, the promises that Jesus gives us, we live in confidence, secure, and at peace. So if you allow hope to be the light of your darkness, if you put your hope in Him and you base your hope in His promises, you're going to experience that there is great power in hope. And with this, I hope that you have an amazing day, an amazing week, and we will talk to you soon.